Hello, hello. Okay. So, hoops and patterns today. I'm going to just start by cutting this out, just so more people might have a chance to hop on if they want to watch the hoop process. So, I haven't tried this transferring my pattern digitally because the space is so small. So I'm just cutting it out super close to the pattern. Then it fits nicely between the two hoops. It all fits, it's just a little bit snug. Okay, and then center. Very fancy with that little cut there, of course. But the same thing, just cut close to your pattern. And then we'll be ready to go. Okay. Yay. I'm just gonna set that off to the side with all my stuff. Okay, so first thing we need to do is cut some fabric. I'm gonna do the Christmas wreath on this linen. I did my winter wreath yesterday and I did it on the sparkle fabric. I was gonna go see if I could find some gold sparkle fabric, but I just haven't made it to the store, so. Let me just find an end, hold on. Okay. I don't worry about exact with fabric. This one, thank you. Normally I cut about an inch extra, but because we're doing a double hoop, we need a little bit more space. So maybe get like 2 inches extra on each side, just so we make sure we have enough for both. And then I just go ahead and cut a rough square, rectangle type shape. Just gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay. So if you are using a patterned fabric, put your pattern down on the table, okay? So we've got our smaller hoop. And we're gonna do this one backwards. So the pattern is on the underside, which is where we're gonna put our inner hoop. And then our outer hoop is gonna go just on top like a regular like we were just doing a regular hoop. Get it in the center as much as possible. So we want enough space to do our bigger hoop as well, okay? So we're gonna tighten this. So if you're not gonna do the double hoop, this is what you're gonna do, but with a bigger hoop. So tighten it to finger tight and then pull this drum tight. Especially right here, if you're doing the double hoop, you're especially gonna want right here to be tight. That will pull funny with the outer hoop on it. So I'm just pulling it, I'm holding on to both sides and just pulling this tight. And then pushing those hoops back together if I need to, okay? So once that's drum tight, I'm just gonna tighten this one more time. The tighter this one is, the easier your outer hoop's gonna be. So if you need to grab some pliers, do that. This feels pretty tight already. I don't feel like I need pliers this time. I will for my outer hoop, but, or if you have a screw, that's my favorite, but. Okay, so now we have this one done. We're gonna flip it over. So your pattern, you should be looking at your pattern now if you're using a patterned fabric. Okay, so I want you to be conscious of where your hardware is. So right now, like the top of my hoop is right here. So we're gonna start with our greenery first. We're gonna stitch the greenery on our hoop first. So I want my hardware to be, I'm gonna put it because that's a pretty large space. I'm gonna put my hardware where the bulbs are. Let's see, it goes this way. So I want that hardware, because we're gonna move this once we start stitching. So my hardware is here. That's where I'm gonna put this. It doesn't super matter right now, but I'm just letting you know. Okay, so we're gonna take our inner hoop and put it underneath. And we're gonna center it. This, I think, is the hardest part of this whole process, is getting this centered. Oh, that worked out pretty well. So if you can see, like, this is a little bit skinnier and this is a little bit fatter. So we're just gonna pull this over a little bit and get that centered before we start trying to stretch our fabric. Okay, so that's pretty centered. So I'm gonna tighten this first so it's fairly tight. And then we're gonna go through and pull it tight here. So since it was fatter up here, I decided I wanted to pull there first, and then I can kind of make adjustments as I go. So like, it's a little bit fatter over here, so I'm gonna pull there first to kind of try and pull that hoop so it's more centered, okay? And then just work your way around your hoop. Ooh, this fabric worked out nice. But you can kind of see, like, that's where the hardware is, so it kind of dips right there, which I always, like, is super frustrating for me. I really like my fabric tight, tight, tight. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my pliers to get this, like, really tight. And then I'm just gonna pull this one more time through. So just go around the edge and pull that through so it's tight. Some fabrics are easier. The cotton that I used for the winter hoop was harder to get smooth. So just so you know, you made it look so easy. I've done this a few times. I've been practicing, so I didn't look like a total weirdo in the video. So I've practiced a few times. So if you have to do this 2 or 3 times, you are not a failure. I think this is my 5th time. So it gets easier. So if it doesn't look right the first time, try it again. Make sure your center hoop is tight and then do your outer hoop. So when I stitched the first time, I cut this right away. I'm gonna try to leave it there while we stitch because I think it'll keep it tighter. And then we'll cut it when we're done stitching. Unless, I mean, I'll let you know as we get going if maybe we need to cut it, but that's it. That's ready. Because we cut this a little bit bigger, or at least I did, I'm gonna trim my edges because I don't like all these big giant corners. They will get caught in the thread, so I'll still trim this a little bit more when we finish so that I can cut off any like hanging threads. But it'll be easier to stitch if we don't have all this extra fabric that can get caught in our threads. Okay. All right, now we're gonna transfer our pattern. So this is where this comes into play. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stitch our greenery first, and then we'll loosen this and move it so that we can stitch what's under it. So make sure whatever is under it is something that can be stitched that's not the greenery. Oh shoot. This one's not fitting. Oh no. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, why does this look small? I wonder if this is one of my previous, I printed the wrong one. Okay, so hold on. Let me, I think I changed it after. I think I might have changed it after and didn't save it. Let me print a new one. Okay, hold on. Well, shoot. You guys, I did this. I printed it like 100 times to make sure it would fit. It's the same size. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just cut this so that I can get it to fit around. I'm just gonna cut right under the train. And I'm gonna cut this star in half because those will be easy to line up. So if your pattern is not fitting, I'm so sorry. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is put the ornaments under. We might just have to move this around. I apologize. So my hardware is here. I'm gonna trace my pattern right there. So if you have, I don't know how well you can see it in the video. I am just gonna hold my fingers under it. If you want to get like a piece of tape or put it up against a window, if you need some extra light, depending on how thick your fabric is, that might be necessary. So just go ahead and trace your pattern. So when I am tracing patterns, I don't usually draw the whole thing. So like with this snowflake, I'm not gonna draw every single little bit of it because I feel like it gets too messy when I'm working. So I'm just gonna draw the main part of it, and then I'll do all the little extra things on it when we get stitching. For me, that's easier. If you feel like you need to draw the whole thing, you totally can. I personally don't like to, so. Same with these leaves. I'm not gonna draw that center line, but it makes the pattern look a little better, so I did it. So same with these like little sprigs. I usually just do, like, I wanna remember that this one is further apart because this other one is like closer together. These ones are harder to see than those. Okay, so I'm just gonna, well, I'll just draw those. Let's see, I have a lot going on right here. I have to put it up to my window, hold on guys. This fabric is a little harder to see through. Okay, so I've got part of my star. So I'm gonna come down here and finish the rest of this. And then we'll do the other side. So because of how this is curving, I am going to, I am so sorry, you guys. The winter one is better. I did it yesterday and didn't have any problems, so I don't know what is up with this winter one. But I'm just gonna do this little bit of leaves and then I'm gonna move it again. So this isn't like super lined up with the greenery, the bulbs and the greenery. I'm sorry. But it will all work out. If anyone is super worried about tracing it exactly as is and needs a new pattern, let me know. I can fix it and then send out a new one. But you'll have to contact me because once you've downloaded from Etsy, I can't send you a new one through Etsy. So, okay, so I'm gonna move this a little bit so that I can get the train on there how I want it, and then I'll finish the other greenery around it. So if you have the winter one though, it should be fine. Okay, so I'm not gonna draw every single line on this. I'm just gonna draw the windows so I remember where they are, and then just kind of draw the outline, and we can add details as we're stitching. Hey, Christy. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave, like, I'm just really just like doing bare minimum. Like, I'm not gonna draw these spokes at all. Okay, so the rest of this pattern I'm just gonna freehand because we've got just this one and this one left. So I'm just gonna draw these on here, one here, Okay. So our other half, I'm just gonna finish the star and then I might need to readjust. Okay, so I've got my star lined up. And then the rest of the pattern might have to be free-handed a little bit. Okay. Santa. It's a lot harder when I'm holding it in my hand like this, but it's fine. Yesterday I went up against the window when I was doing the winter one. I could see a lot better. So if you're struggling, try something else. Okay. All right, now we've got Santa. I'm just gonna scoot him down a little bit. This isn't quite connecting. It's a little bit small for this hoop. So I'm just gonna scoot this down a little bit and then draw this a little bit longer. And then draw Santa on there. Little nose. I'm just gonna do dots for his eyes. Okay, and same thing, I'm just gonna move this down just a little bit and make these leaves just slightly longer. Otherwise we're not gonna meet up with our train. Close. Let's see. Sorry, this is like moving all over. We've got 2 more leaves. Draw them a little bit bigger. Let's see. Okay. So there's our pattern. I might add, I'm sorry, this pattern struggled, this Christmas one. I might add a little sprig there. And fix that leaf. This one seems a little like it doesn't quite have enough, so I'm gonna do one more. Keep this one going up a little. Okay, I think we're good. This might be too small to write Polar Express. I have all these grand ideas, and then when I get it on fabric, it's just not quite right. Okay, so yeah, I think we're good to go. So this is ready for us. I used a Pilot Friction marker today. Should we add more like you just did in spaces? Yeah, for sure. If you feel like you need to. I'm sorry, this Christmas one is struggling. The winter one I felt like went really smooth. So yeah, if there's some space that you feel like over here just had like these leaves and this one little sprig, so I added an extra one here. Feel free to add wherever you want, because some of it is like really has like a lot and some doesn't have quite as much. I don't know what I was doing with that, but especially if you had to like move your pattern around like I did, just fill those spaces by making your leaves a little bit bigger or adding like a little extra sprig of something. It'll all work out, I promise. We will make it work. So Monday, so I'll post a story about this as well, but I think Monday through Thursday, I think, is the greenery. So we're going to do 2 different kinds of leaves, and then we've got these ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 5 days. But I'll go back and forth between the 2 because I'm working on 2 hoops. So if you're doing both, you're gonna have double the work that first week. If you're only doing one, then you'll just go day by day. So the first 5 days we'll do the greenery, and then I'll go every other day and do one of each of these. So just one at a time. So I'll do like Christmas and then winter, Christmas and then winter. So then we'll get through the last 2 weeks. So every day might not pertain to you if you didn't get both patterns, but you're still welcome to come hang out with us and stitch. If you're like behind on your greenery, then catch up on a day that we're doing something that you're not. So anyways, that is it for me today. I hope you all in the US have a very happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with your family. And I will be back on Monday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We'll be stitching. And yeah, should be a good time. So let me know if you have questions before then. And if you want an updated, I'm going to fix this Christmas pattern. So if you're wanting an updated one, just message me and I will email you a new copy after I get it fixed. I don't know what happened. Okay, see you later. Bye.